Schools across Pennsylvania and the greater Philadelphia area are banning cell phones for students. I'll explain what it means next. If you get some value out of this or you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and if you want to schedule a call with our team to determine which schools will have the ban and which don't, you can do that with the link in the comments when it comes to your real estate decisions. Schools across Pennsylvania, locally as well as statewide, are banning cell phone usage for students. There is a bipartisan piece of legislature that was introduced in July to ban cell phones in all K through 12 schools with the hope of creating a phone-free environment to address mental health concerns and distractions, and the bill is still pending House approval. So I think this is probably a good thing. You know, it's someone that runs meetings when people are looking at their phones and their computers. It's distracting. My kids go to a school district where they have an off and away policy that's already been in place, where they require students to store cell phones and smart devices during class time. With the policy was started really in last school year, in the 24-25 school year that we just went through. And it makes a ton of sense to me because the kids are there to learn. Now, in Olney High School in Philadelphia, this was just on Action News last week. If you've ever been to like a comedy show, I went to Chris Rock at the Met where you walked in, they had a pouch with a lock on it where you would lock your phone in there so you couldn't use it. And now in Olney High School, they had those pouches last year. Now they're going to have weatherproof lockers outside the school where students will lock their phones in there. And some parents are reacting, saying kids need access, things happen. I don't totally agree with that because I had a payphone in my high school and no phone in the school I went to in K through 8th. So obviously you didn't need those. And it's a different time. I get that. This was back in the 80s and 90s. And we're seeing that the Philadelphia school district as a whole, they're allowing their schools to implement what they think is fit on an individual school basis. And there's no district-wide cell phone ban in the Philadelphia public schools right now. And Superintendent Tony Watling noted that individual schools have their own restrictions, just like Olney High, and now parents are in uproar, and there's a big debate. Lower Merion has an off and away policy. There's a lack of uniformity in schools like Cheltenham and nearby schools in the city because they haven't announced bans as of mid-2025. Tredyffrin Easttown is going through this. And then there's the people that are the proponents of banning these because they're linking the studies that are out there and cell phone usage to create anxiety. There's bullying, there's reduced attention spans. And I mean, some kids just don't have phone etiquette. They start calling all the time like mental patients. They send insane amounts of text messages until their friends respond. That is not good for young kids. So I understand the mental health side of this. And with Pennsylvania's proposed law, that's a big driver of phone-free schools. So then you've got this pledge that's out there, and this is very interesting. If you're a member of these Facebook groups where your kids go to school, which unfortunately I am because I like to see what's going on, they have it the waituntil8th.org, and it's basically a pledge that parents rally together to delay giving children a smartphone at least until the end of 8th grade. And to protect the middle school and high school years, there's 115,000 parents that have said yes, and this is across the country. And that's the whole point of this. Now, there's pluses and minuses, right? Kids need to get picked up from activities. I have daughters that are in dance for hours. I have kids that do after-school activities, and there's a safety issue of being able to track them and seeing where they are. So there's that side of it. Then there's the mental health and anxiety side. So both sides of this are well-founded. And I do like the idea of during school hours. It doesn't say after school. It says school hours where they have the off and away policy. And to give some perspective, 26 states have already enacted cell phone bans or restrictions in schools, putting Pennsylvania, including Philadelphia and its suburbs, way behind as lawmakers push to catch up with evidence-based policies. So pending bans could improve academic learning and social interactions. And what I'd love to see happen is that there's a uniform policy across the state because Abington School District's got a comprehensive ban. The Science Leadership Academy, the magnet school in Philadelphia, 9th grade teachers implemented a ban starting May 1st of 2024. And some teachers reported improved focus and interpersonal connections. The Garnet Valley has a resistance to full bans. Lower Merion has their off and away policy. There's also state funding for enforcement tools because if you're using the Yondor pouches, I think is what they're called, that costs a lot of money. The state has allocated, listen to this, $100 million in grants for school districts. Then there's the parent-led advocacy, there's the mental health side, and really, what I see happening here is there's got to be a uniform policy across the board. That way, people aren't moving to school districts because of cell phone usage, which would be insane, but people have done crazier. This, to me, is a good thing for learning, but also you got to blend it with the safety policies.